to Savage Kitchen. Today, we are going to be making a beautiful layered cocktail for Independence Day. I've seen a lot of layered cocktails on the old Instagrams, and I'm not a fan. Usually they're sugar bombs. Like they have a layer of grenadine on the bottom, which nothing against grenadine. I love grenadine. But when you have a whole layer of it, that's a ton of sugar. And then there's usually a layer of Blue Curaçao on top, which I just, not a fan personally of the Blue Curaçao. I know lots of people love it. It's not for me. I think it's gross. I think it's super sugary and chemically and just not my thing. So I wanted to make a cocktail that was both pretty, fun to make, and actually delicious. Like we want that whole Instagram versus reality thing to be same. Like the Instagram's real pretty, the reality's real delicious. So let's go. Ingredients for this cocktail are as follows. You're going to want some watermelon juice. If you saw my last video, I will put a link up here. I have a plethora of watermelon juice from turning a watermelon into a keg. I feel like I'm crushing this watermelon. I can't say I recommend doing that. The result is fun, but it was a lot of work. But the best part of that was we ended up with a ton of watermelon juice. Next thing you're gonna need is some soda water. I personally like Pellegrino. Any old soda water will do. If you love tonic, you can try this with tonic. I haven't. Y'all know how I feel about tonic water, but the effervescence is nice. If you hate effervescence, this cocktail just probably isn't for you. You could try it with water. I tried it with coconut water, not so good. And then finally, for our blue element, Empress Gin. So Empress Gin is my favorite Canadian export, one of my favorite Canadian exports. And this gets its beautiful blue color from pea flowers. So not only is it very, very pretty, uniquely colored, it's actually delicious as far as gin goes, I think. It has a bit of sweetness to it. It's very, very smooth, and it pairs nicely with citrus flavors. And then finally, we're gonna need just a little bit of simple syrup. You could use a honey syrup here if you wanted, or an infused simple. I'm just going with a plain simple syrup and a little bit of lemon juice. Now, we're gonna be building this cocktail in the glass. And as such, we're gonna start with our bottom layer before we put crushed ice in, because if we put the ice in and then pour our watermelon juice over this, we're gonna end up with red throughout the drink. So first things first, we're gonna do 1.5 ounces of watermelon juice. And I got this cute little, I don't know, it's like, I don't even know what you would call this, teapot-ish? My best friend owns a flower shop, and I'm obsessed with these. Super, super cool. I'm gonna put a link to her store below. Like, this is in no way an ad, but like, these are super cute and they come in 2 sizes, and I'm obsessed. Then we're gonna do just 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. This cocktail is not too sweet. Watermelon juice is not cloyingly sweet, so I do find it needs just a little bit of simple to round everything out. Getting a little low here. And then we also want 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. So 1/2 ounce of lemon juice typically is just half a lemon. You squeeze this into a jigger enough times to know. And like, it's a cocktail. If it's not exactly precise, settle, it's gonna be okay. So squeeze half a lemon into your glass, and that's our first layer. Okay, now that we've got our first layer in, we wanna fill our glass all the way to the top with crushed ice. Now, if you don't have a Lewis bag or a refrigerator that crushes ice for you, just throw some ice cubes in a Ziploc bag, cover it with a tea towel, and go to town beating on that thing. You can use a meat mallet, a rolling pin, your bare fist. Get all that rage out. I made a lot of crushed ice this week. Now we're going to take our Pellegrino, which, by the way, I genuinely appreciate that our 4th of July drink is made from a bunch of imports. Empress Gin is Canadian, Pellegrino is Italian. And are we nothing else if not a country of immigrants? I appreciate this. So 2 full ounces of Pellegrino. And by the way, like, feel free to play with the ratios on this. If you want it to be more watermelon heavy, add more watermelon juice. If you want it to be super boozy, add more gin. No one's judging you here. We believe in live and let live at Savage Kitchen. And then finally, we're going to add our blue layer. So this really might be my favorite gin. I personally really like it. So we're gonna add somewhere between 1.5 ounces and 2 ounces, just depends on how much ice you've got in, size of your glass, how boozy you want it. The key here is to pour slowly, which is why I'm actually gonna go from the jigger. You could also pour over the back of a spoon. That's gonna help disperse your ingredients slowly. I'm kind of bad at that technique personally, so I'm just gonna be real careful. I'm gonna go around the glass, creating that layer of blue. Ugh, I think it needs a little more. So, and I had poured a little less than 2 ounces. So we're gonna end up going exactly 2 ounces on this. Perfect. Look how pretty that is. Ah, love it. So now to serve this, obviously you want to serve it with layers. To drink it, I would recommend stirring it up. You want to mix all of those flavors together and taste a perfectly balanced cocktail. But for our purposes, especially since I want to photograph this after, I'm just going to give a taste this way. I'm going to stick my straw, maybe, all the way through. Ah, look at that. It was really good. I can't wait to stir this up and drink it. So I'm a little unsure what to name this cocktail. I don't know that it needs a name. All of the names I was coming up with were a reflection of my angst right now at what the Supreme Court has been doing. So it was a little tough to feel super patriotic and come up with something red, white, and blue. So I don't know, maybe we call this the Descent, Plan C, RBG, you know, for red, blue, gonna vote you motherfuckers out of office. I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments. So I hope everybody has a safe and happy 4th of July, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, friends. Let's work out some aggression. To crush your ice, grab a Ziploc bag, fill it with whole ice, and then place it in between a tea towel. Next, channel the rage you feel that the Supreme Court didn't find it necessary to protect women's privacy from puritanical state lawmakers who think we can't govern our own bodies. A little more. Beat the ice until you've reached your desired consistency. A little more. Or you feel slightly less rage. More. But either way, go vote. Crushed ice.